Good evening. So today we need to start regarding that properties. Okay. So properties simply we can say it's a props. Okay. The basically short form of like props is the short form of the properties. Okay. So the thing is we need to pass the data from the one component to the another component. Okay. Suppose if you have the component one. Okay. We have the data like in the component one we have the data is equal to 10. Okay, so we need to pass this data to the another component. Okay, component 2. Okay, so using the props, so we need to pass some props actually. Okay, for example, the thing is like this props basically like other way to pass the data from the parent to child. So imagine this component 1 it's a parent and component 2 it's a child. Okay, to way like the other way to pass the data from the parent component to the child component. Okay, so the thing is like the basically the props we can say it's a read only. Okay, basically the props are the read only. Okay, and the immutable inside the component like component that receives the like them we can say. And basically like they help to creating the dynamic and reusable component. Okay, so we can create one component actually here. So I'll use online editor stack blitz. Okay, I'll sign in. Okay, I'll do one thing. To the right, React, getting started. I will copy this link. I'll open this thing. Okay, I'll create one folder. Desktop. React. Open a folder. React. I will open the terminal and I will run the command this one. Okay, why it's not? Okay, they have not installed. So I'll do one thing. I'll use the stack blades only. Stack blades, the React. Okay, so this is the online editor actually. Okay, so the thing is like we need to create one component. Okay, there is a function. Okay, otherwise I will do one thing. So I will create one more component called hello.jsx. Okay, we need to import the React. Import React from React. Okay, so after that we need to create one function component. There is a hello and we need to pass the props. Okay, we need to return something. Okay, so here h1 and here we need to close that h1. Okay, I need to pass that props dot name and I need to export that component also. export default and that hello. Okay, so yeah, so we have created one component, that is hello, and we are like getting one props actually, okay, in the parameter. Okay, and that parameter like that props we are using like the props dot name. Okay, so basically it return that it return the props dot name. Okay, what we'll do, so I will do one thing here, so I will import that component in this thing hello. Okay, so here I will pass the name is equal to Virat. The hello is not defined, means we need to import that hello from hello from hello dot jsx. Okay, yeah, you can see there is a right side hello Virat. Okay, so we are passing that name from the app.js. Okay, we are passing the name app.js. This is the app component. Okay, so in this we have imported the hello. Okay, in that we passed that attribute called name is equal to Virat. Okay, so in this component you can see we are taking the props. Okay, so we can use the props dot name, so you will get the that name actually. Okay, so this is the thing we can say, like that props basically this one component. Okay, this is a one component, means parent component means this app. Okay, we are passing some name. In the child component itself it's a hello, so we are taking something. Okay, so here we are passing the props dot name, so we are getting some that name actually. Okay, so this is the thing we can say, like that props are the way to pass the data from the parent component to the child component. Okay, so the thing is like here, so we have passing different types of data through props. Okay, so we can pass almost any data type in the props. Okay, so we have a question regarding that. So here we are passing like something called string. Okay, so here we are checking that passing different types of the data through the props. Okay, so we can pass almost any data types as a props. For example, you can take as a string. Okay, you can take as the number. Okay, string in the sense they can take as a name is equal to something called Virat. Okay, in the number we can pass something called count also. Count is equal to 10. Okay, for example here we will pass something, the count is equal to the 10. Okay, so in this thing I'll check that one, so I will copy this one. There is a count. Okay, so you can see they're checking the count as a 10. Okay, and we can use boolean also here, boolean. Okay, so boolean we can take one example called visible, like visible is equal to true, like that. Okay, so I'll pass that visible here. Visible is equal to true. Okay, so we'll take that true in this thing. boolean visible, so it's true. Okay, and next thing we can pass the array also. Okay, so here we can pass the array also, we can pass the object also, object as well, and we can pass function also. Okay, so the basically we are passing the different types of the data through the props. Okay, so usually we can pass the almost any data types as a props. Okay, so now we have seen using the function component. Okay, so we need to see accessing the props in the class component. Okay, so for that thing there is a thing called so we'll create one class component, the class component dot jsx. Okay, so we'll import the react from react, and there is a class component is the name, and we need to extend, there is the react dot component, react dot component. Okay, so here we need to render something, and we need to return the h1. Okay, so for example I will show you one thing. Okay, so in the class component we need to use the this keyword. Okay, so in the compared to the functional component and the class component, the thing is like the main keyword is the this. Okay, so here we need to use the this dot props, this dot props dot name. Okay, this dot props dot name. Okay, so I need to export this class also, class component. Okay, so I will import this component in the app here. Okay, I will import that class component. Import, there is the component from component. Okay, so in this thing we need to pass something called, the name is the abd. Okay, so in the class component we are passing the name. Okay, so you can see in the class component, so we are using call that this dot props dot name, but in the functional component you can see the only we are using the props dot name. So this is the difference between that class component and that functional component. Okay, so after that there is a one thing regarding the state and props. State versus props. Okay, so basically props in the sense like we need to pass the data from the one component to the another component, means we need to pass the data from the parent to child. Okay, and the thing is like we can say it's immutable. Okay, the props we can say like passed from the parent to child. Okay, so we can say it's a immutable and it's a state. Okay, so we can use that like basically state in the sense we can store something, about the component in the local. Okay, I will show you one thing actually. Okay, so the thing is like this, we can do one thing, local to the component. Okay, so we can say it's a mutable. We can change the value also. Okay, the state. So state in the sense we can store the data about the component in the locally. Okay, for example, I'll use that a class component first. Okay, so the class state with the JSX, the class component. First thing we need to import the React from the React. Okay, so then we need to use the class, then that class state. Okay, that class state we need to extend something, and we need to use that React dot component. Okay, so in this thing we need to use something called constructor, because of we need to store something. Okay, so what we have did here, that this like props, like we already seen the props means we need to pass something data from the one component to the another component, but the state in the sense we need to store something about the component. Okay, for that thing I have to use the constructor will do like it's initialize something the values kind of things actually. Okay, so here I will use something called super and props. Okay, so here I'll use, this is our state, this dot state we need to define in the class component called this dot state. So in this thing I'll add something called yeah, name. Okay, the name is like the name is like yeah, name is like yeah, Dhoni, and yeah, I will pass the state the only Dhoni. Okay, and after that I will render. After that I will render. Okay, so return the JSX. So here you can see okay, yeah, so the thing is that we need to export something default for class state. Okay, so I will do one thing. The thing is like this name I need to pass somewhere. Okay, I need to pass somewhere. Okay, otherwise I will do one thing. The thing is like I will pass here only, like this dot state dot name. Okay, so you can see line number 6 there is this dot, like this dot state. Okay, after that there is a name. Okay, so for that thing I given as the this dot state dot name. Okay, so I will import this is in app.jsx. Okay, in this thing there is a class state. Okay, and here I will use import that thing actually. Import, there is a class state from state. Okay, so in the here you can see that Dhoni it's coming. Okay, so what we did here, the thing is like, so we are stored something. So for this thing we can call as a state. Here you can see local to the component means we need to store about the component. Okay, so here we have stored something. Okay, so this is regarding, we can say, the state. Okay, we'll see differences between the state and props. Okay, so basically that in the state we can say it's a mutable. The props we can say it's a immutable. Okay, and the thing is like the and the like scope of the state, the scope of the state, like we need to store something. We need to store something about the component. Okay, regarding the props, we need to like pass from the parent to child. Okay, and the third third difference, there is a purpose. Okay, So the purpose of this state is basically we need to manage the manage the dynamic data internally. Okay, for that thing we can use the state. Okay, props in the sense we can say it's a like if you want to pass the data, like if you want to transfer the data from the one component to the another component, then you can use that props. Okay, so this is the regarding we can say it's a it's a properties. Okay, and state. Okay, the next thing regarding the name is yeah that is regarding the props. Okay, the same thing, but so basically what we have seen that props is basically a it's shortened for the that properties. Okay, here you can see the thing is it's basically it allows the component to receive the data from the parent component. Okay, and enabling the reusability and modularity. Okay, so we need to follow some key concepts for that the props. Okay, the basically what we have seen that props are the read only. The props are the read only. The read only in the sense basically the component should not modify the props directly. Read only in the sense the component should not modify the props directly. And the second thing think of the props as an input to the function. Okay, they determine what the components rendered. And basically we have seen regarding that state is mutable. How? The thing is if you want to handle the data that change over time, for example user input, network responses, so then you can use the state, not a props. The thing is if you want to handle the data that changes over time, so then you can use that state, not a props. Okay, so here you can see the example. So yeah, so this is for the state and this is for the other term props. Okay, so after that there is one more thing regarding that validations. Okay, so validations, props validations. Okay, so in the React there is a prop validation. Why we are using in the sense basically this prop validation the thing is it helps to prevent the bugs caused incorrect data types being passed up to the component. So it will handle some errors. Suppose if you are suppose if we have created something the wrong type. Okay, so then it will detect the proper type actually. Okay, the React component basically it's received the data from the multiple sources. Okay, suppose we are receiving suppose you are receiving the multiple sources. Okay, ensuring that correct prop types. Here for example here we are using the so many data types. Okay, but we should know so what prop types are we are using, and that should be we need to we need to define the particular thing. So basically we need to use called the prop type package. The prop type package to design for the this purpose. Okay, so basically the we are using the props validation with the prop types. Okay, so the thing is why we are using that the prop types. Okay, so the thing is that we need to detect the props type mismatching during the development. Okay, and it help the catch the early by issuing the console warning. Okay, and there's the type safety. Okay, and the like it does not affect the performance in the production. So these are the two, like those are, there are so many things we can see like for the prop types. Okay, for the setting up the prop types we need to install that npm I npm install that prop types. Okay, we need to install. Okay, so after that I will add one example for that thing. The thing is like for example sum dot jsx, sum dot jsx. Okay, I will import that react from the react. Okay, so before that I want to install something. Okay, so do I have any terminal here? So I don't have any terminal. So in the dependency I can add so here I will add those things, props, like prop types. I'm trying to install the dependencies. Yeah, install completed. You can see the props types are present in the dependencies. Okay, so I will import that prop types from the that prop types. Okay, so I will use that class, and there is a sum, and we need to extend something, and there is a react dot component. So why we are using again and again the class component, in the sense you need some practice on the class component. Okay, like some interview will ask regarding the functional component also as well, and that class component as well. So for that thing I am using the both function and class component. Okay, so you need some grip on that both components. Okay, so yeah, so here we have created the sum component. Okay, so we need to render. So here I will return something, return the JSX. Okay, the thing is like I will add something called this sum of this dot props dot num1 and this dot props dot num2. Okay, is I will use the pass int like this dot props dot num1 plus the pass int this dot props dot num2. Okay, so we have created the component. The next process, we need to use that prop validation. So here we have imported the prop types. Okay, but we need to add the prop validation in the sense, so we need to find something, like we need to find something in the, suppose if you have suppose if you like did any wrong thing, like the type kind of things, so it will detect things. Okay, so here I will do one thing, there is some okay dot prop types okay is equal to, we need to define what is the num1. Okay, usually the num1 should be the number only, it should not the a string boolean kind of things. Okay, so here I will use that prop types dot a number, so we need to define number. The same for the num2 also, we need to use that prop types dot number. So then after that we need to export default is sum. Okay, so this is the thing we can say. It's the props validation with props types. Okay, so the thing is like we need to use we need to use this one, this sum in the app.js. Okay, so here I will use the sum. There is a sum. Okay, we need to import that sum as well. Import, there is sum from, there is sum. What I'm getting the error. So cannot assign the read-only properties prototype. The function class components. So 1 minute. Something I did wrong actually. No, I don't use the prototype. I need to use the prop type. Prop types. Okay, prop types I have to use. Okay, so now I'm getting called something not a number. Okay, not a number. So I'm getting some not a number because of I need to pass something. So I'm like, you can see, just I'm called that component, but here we need to pass the num1 is equal to something called 10, and that num2 we need to pass something called 20. Okay, so the sum of the 10 and 20 is the 30. Okay, the thing is like you can see that like right now I given the properly as the number data type, but I will do one thing. Okay, instead of the curly braces I will try to add the string. Okay, it should detect the errors. It should not detect the errors. It should. There is some. So here PropTypes. The PropTypes number. So the thing is like the sum num1, the num1 is equal to num2. Okay, the sum dot prop types is equal to num1 is the number. It should give the error actually. I'm not sure about this editor. Okay, but usually it should give the error like 1 minute. I will do one thing. I'll create there is a white the search command is not found. Why? For that thing. Okay, I think yes. Again I'm getting this error. We'll see. Okay, I will show you later in this laptop, but this is, we need to set up something actually in this thing. Okay,
Install Node.js package.
Node.js is not, Node is not there. Node.js. Day before yesterday it was there, no? I don't know the password also. Okay, not a problem. So I will show you here only. The thing is like, suppose here given some validation. Okay, num1 should be the number and num2 should be the number. Okay, suppose if you try to add in the like in the some num1 is equal to string. Okay, for example I will so here you will get error called error like failed prop, like failed prop type, invalid prop, like that actually. But I'm not sure about this editor why it's coming like this. I will use one more thing. There is a code code sandbox React.js. So here we can use we'll see this one I'll use accept all. Here I'll use that PropTypes. Okay, so the prop type also there. Okay, so I'll create separate component called sum.jsx. Unable to write the file. Why? sum.jsx. Okay, so we need to import that in this thing. Okay, in the app.js, this is the thing. I need to import this sum also. So Okay. So what do we have here? There is a script. Okay. The terminal. Okay. npm. Before that, I need to check. Okay. npm run there. Then to import the prop.types. Okay, I want to check that prop.types in the sum. Here we have imported the packet.json. It's not there. Okay, for that thing I will do one thing here. There is npm I prop types. So it's too like it's taking too much time actually. We'll go here only. Okay, suppose the thing is like, suppose if I pass that that string, it should give error like, the thing is like some, it will give some warning. Okay, fail to props, like that, like failed props, like failed prop types. Okay, that type is the invalid kind of things actually. Okay, it will throw the error like this. Okay, so the basically that num1 and num2 is expected to be the number. Okay, but we are passing here the string, so it will take by default. I'm not sure because of it, like some editor has some like issue. Okay, so that's a thing. Okay, the thing is like the basically, if suppose if we have defined as a number only, like type, so you need to pass the number, like type as a number only here in the app. Okay, so this is the thing basically. So why we are using that that prop validation in the sense. Okay, so the first thing we need to, yeah, why we are using the prop type in the sense. So basically detect the prop type mismatches. Okay, during the development. And the second thing, it helps the catch bugs the early by issuing console warning. Okay, and basically you can say the type safety also. Okay, type safety. So we have the, like, these are the things we are using the like prop types. For example, here you can see. Okay, suppose if you pass instead of that number, if you pass that string, so it will throw the error like that okay, where it is the, yeah, error like that fail to like, yeah, fail the prop type is invalid prop, like that actually. Okay, so you can use the custom, yeah, you can use that custom prop type also. Okay, so this is the best practice. We need to add the prop types basically. So always validate the props for the reusable component. Suppose if you are using the any component, you need to define the this prop types. So it's a very important, it's a best practice we need to follow. but we need to avoid these prop types in the production level. So development level it's okay, but production level we need to avoid. Okay, it's a development only by default. Okay, so this is regarding, we can say it's a props type, like prop types. The next thing we need to see regarding the constructor. Constructor. Okay, so basically the like in the React class component there is a function called constructor, is mainly used for initialize the props, initialize props, okay, and setting up state, okay, and binding event handler. Okay, so we can use this constructor for these things, that initialize the props and setting up state and binding the event handler. Okay, so first thing we can use that initialize the props in the constructor, this one initialization. Okay, the initialize the props in the constructor in the sense like in here you can see in the, yeah, not here. Okay, so basically in the React the props are the read only. Okay, so we have seen earlier regarding the props. Okay, so in the React the props are the read only. Basically the data passes from the parent component to the child component. Okay, like to use them inside the class, and we initialize them using the super props. Here you can see the thing is like in the React the props are read only, data passed from the parent component. To use them inside the class we initialize them using the super that props. Okay, so the first thing what we have seen regarding the initialize the props, so here you can see we have initialized the props here. Okay, the thing is like why we need that like super, why we need that super props. Okay, why we need in this, and basically a state in the React holds the data, otherwise you can see the thing is like without without it like without the super props, okay, that this dot props will show, like it will be the undefined, we can say, inside the constructor. Okay, so without the super props, okay, that this dot props will be undefined inside the constructor. Okay, and the second thing, there is a initialize the state, means setting the state. Okay, the basically like the state is the React hold the data, okay, that can change over time. So basically it's initializing it using that this dot state. For example, you can see here this dot state is equal to something, we can add anything inside the constructor. So basically we need to define the state inside the constructor, ensure that. Okay, suppose you guys are using the state like this. Okay, if you want to update that state, suppose here we are using this yeah, here we are using the name is equal to Dhoni. Okay, suppose on click the button, I need, for example, here this is the thing. Okay, leave it. Suppose yeah, here we are passing some name called name equal to Dhoni. Okay, if you want a like name that instead of Dhoni, if you want to add the Virat, okay, so in that case you have to use called that this dot set state. This dot set state we have to use for the updating the state actually. Okay, And there is a third thing, there is a binding the event handler. Okay, so in the class component, that this inside the event handler is the undefined. The thing is like, in the class component, that this inside the event handler, it's undefined unless you bind it. Okay, bind it in the sense how means like, for example, so the thing is like, I will show you one thing. There is the, I'll create one component called welcome, that is JSX, and here just I will create a component. Okay, the welcome is the component extend, this is the react dot component. Okay, here I will use that constructor, and I will use that props, and parallelly I have to use that super keyword. Suppose if you don't use the super keyword, it will throw the undefined. So here I will create one state. The state is equal to welcome message, welcome message is equal suppose is equal to hello. This is our welcome message. Okay, so we don't need this one. Okay, so in this thing, in the constructor only, we need to define that bind, like this thing, this bind event handler. Okay, so before that we need to render something. After the constructor, we need to render something. Render. Okay, I need to return. Okay, okay, so here I will pass something called there is a this dot state dot welcome message. Okay, and yeah, so parallelly I want to pass something called name also. Okay, so I'll create one button also. Here there is a button. Okay, I want to change the message, change the message. Okay, so here I will use the event called on click. So here I will use this dot change message handler, change message handler. Okay, so in the class component, suppose if you're trying to add the attribute called on click, so then you should that use that function name like this dot change message handler. Okay, so I will do one thing. So I'll create the function for a change message handler. Okay, so in this thing, okay, I'll set this dot set state, the previous state. Okay, so here I will use that welcome message. I will use that previous state dot welcome message. Welcome message is equal to hello. Hello, we need to add the welcome, otherwise hello. Okay, what we have did, yeah. So the thing is like, we need to use here the bind. Okay, so this dot that to change message handler is this dot that change message handler, and we need to use the bind like this. Okay, I'll import that welcome component here. welcome component, welcome form, React is not defined, or just we are trying to create that import React from the React, export default from that welcome. Okay, so it's not working right. The welcome message is hello. This start name. So it should work. Set state, previous state. That welcome message, the preview that welcome message is equal to this thing. So then it should change actually. It's not changing. Okay, this is a welcome class. Extend react.component constructor, state is hello. Okay, this start like the change message handler, and this the change message handler on the net. To use something undefined. Cannot read the undefined. Sorry, the thing is like here I'm using that small letter of the H. It should use that capital H. Okay, so now I will save and it should welcome. Yeah, got it. The thing is like, suppose when that welcome message is equal to hello, then it should print like welcome, otherwise it should that like hello. Okay, the right now when I click the when I click on this button change message, so it will come that that welcome. Okay, so this is regarding, we can say it's a constructor. The basically constructor is the thing is like, we can say we need to initialize something. The initialize something in the set, we need to initialize the props and setting up state and binding the events. Okay, so initialize the props in the sense here you can see, okay, this is the props, and setting up the state in the sense you can see here we have initialize the state. Okay, the welcome message is equal, welcome message is the hello, this is the state. Okay, and this is binding. Okay, so here we are using the bind like the function. Okay, that welcome message is equal to hello, then it will print as welcome, otherwise it will print as hello kind of things. Okay, so yeah, so apart from this thing, so we need to know regarding that component life cycle. Component life cycle. Component life cycle. Okay, so the basically we need to know like the very important the component life cycle in the React. Okay, in the React and Angular or JavaScript. Okay, the component life cycle in the sense. Okay, so we have one component. Okay, we have one component, so we can create the component in the sense it will the like we can say it's a birth. Okay, suppose if we want to update the state and props for the particular component, we can say it's a update. Okay, suppose if we want to remove that particular component, we can say it's a death. Thing is like we can say for example the birth. Okay, the birth and update and that death. Okay, you can see the growth. Okay, for this is the like human mentality. Okay, suppose for the technical word birth in the sense we can say it's a mount. Okay, and like growth in the sense we can say it's a update. Okay, and the death in the sense we can say it's a unmount. Okay, the basically in the React the component life cycle is refers to the different stages of different stages it goes through the from the creation to the like destruction. Okay, so basically that React provides that life cycle methods. Okay, that allows the developer to hook into the some stages to specific logic. The stage is called basically that life cycle. There are three main spaces. One is the mounting, and one is the updating, and one is the unmounting. Okay, the mounting in the sense when the component is added to the DOM. Okay, the thing is like the mounting is basically when the component is added to the DOM. Okay, and the updating basically updating. Okay, so when the component the state or props changes, otherwise we can say it's triggers. Okay, the thing is like updating in the sense when the component state or props changes. Okay, and the third thing there is unmounting. Okay, so unmounting in the sense when the component is removed from the DOM, we can say it's a unmounting. The same thing what I explained here in the birth and growth and death. Okay, the thing is like component will birth and it will grow means update, and it will death, we can say it's unmount. Okay, the mounting in the sense when the component is added to the DOM, and update in the sense when the component is state like component when the component state of changes, and the unmounting in the sense we can say it so when the component is removed from the DOM. Okay, so here we need to know some like the life cycle methods in the like from the class component. Okay, so in the functional component also we have the class like the life cycle method, and the class component also we have that life cycle method. So first we'll go through that class component. Okay, so first thing we need to see that mounting phase in the class component. First thing we will go through the mounting phase. Okay, so when the component is added to the DOM, okay, the first phase in the mounting we can say it's a constructor. Okay, so basically initialize the state and binds the methods, basically constructor. Okay, so after that we will see that static get derived a state from props. it will accept two things. One, it's a props, and one, it's a state. Okay, so in this thing basically that's like a state get derived state from the props is the functions only. Basically invoke the it like invoke the before every render, like both on mounting and updating. So this function will be called. Okay, so basically this function will accept the two things. One is the props and state. Okay, why we are using this thing in the sense we need to use it to sync the state and props. Okay, the thing is like basically this static get derived state from props is rarely used. Okay, so after that there is a one more thing, there is a render. Okay, render in the sense it's a required method to return the JSX. You can see in the class component, so there is a render. Why we need this render in the sense it's a required method that return the JSX. Okay, so after that there is a component did mount. Okay, so basically this like this method will called after the component is mounted. Okay, this method is called component is mounted. Okay, so why we are using this component did mount in the sense in the class component. So for the API call, otherwise we can use the timer. Okay, so we can use these things actually, that component did mount. Okay, the second thing, there is the updating phase. Means updating phase in the sense when the props or state changes. Okay, so here first thing we can see there is a should component update. Okay, so here we will accept that next props and the next state. Okay, so basically this should component update, it will it determine if the re-rendering is necessary, and basically this component it will return the boolean things that are true or false. Okay, so after that there is one more thing, get snapshot before update. We can set the previous previous props and the next state. It will accept the previous props and next state. Okay, so where we are using in the sense basically we need to use the capture the things like scroll positions. Okay, so basically this is also rarely used in the class component. Basically this component is invoked the right before the changes are applied to the DOM. Okay, so after that the component called component did update. Did update. Okay, so it will accept the previous props and the previous state, and the thing is snapshot. Okay, so basically this this method is called after the update is applied. Okay, so we need to use this that for the DOM interaction. Okay, so we need to use this component update for the DOM interaction. Okay, so finally we can see the third one, it's unmounting. Unmounting in the sense basically when the component is removed from the DOM. So here there is only one method called, there is a component will unmount. Components will unmount. Okay, so basically here we can see there is a cleanup logic goes here. Means suppose for example you have defined one timer. Okay, so parallelly you have to clear the timer also. So think is like, for example we are using the cleanup the logic goes here. For example, you can take that clearing the timer, removing the event listener. Okay, for that thing we are using this unmounting. Okay, the best practice is that basically we need to use that component did mount for the API calls and the timer, and that component component will unmount for the clean up the task. Okay, and the get derived state from the props in this, basically it's unless absolute necessary we can say. And basically, so these are all the things we can use. So right now we are using in the React.js in the sense it's a class component. Okay, so this mounting phase, updating phase, and unmounting, so all the things we can see in the class component. Okay, suppose if you want to do in the React, so then there is only one hook called the use state. We'll see later regarding that use effect. Okay, use effect, you can see all the three things you can able to see in the one hook called use effect. Okay, so this is the regarding called that lifecycle method. Okay, the thing is like the mounting phase in the sense it's when the component is added to the DOM, and the update in the sense it's when the component state or prop changes. Okay, and unmounting in the sense when the component is removed from the DOM. Okay, same thing we have seen the things actually regarding. Okay, the constructor in the sense it's initializes state and binds bind the state. For example, I will write the things here. Okay, so the constructor props in the sense for example I'll create for example, yeah, for the constructor okay, for the constructor we can use that constructor. There is a props and the super, we need to send the props, and we need to create the this dot state is equal to there is a count, we need to set as a 0. Okay, so here we need to initialize the state and the binds methods. Okay, for the constructor props. Okay, so next thing they are in the get there are state from props. Okay, the next thing there is a get state from the props, the static. So the thing is like we can write the thing. So this is the one function. Okay, and here we need to pass something called if that props is reset. For example, I am writing if props are reset, so then we need to return something called count is equal to 0. Otherwise we need to return a null. Okay, so this is the example for the that get the state from the props. Okay, for the render you can see the normally any code you need to write the render, and the component did mount. Basically I will write the component did mount. So the component did mount. Okay, so I will use the timer. Okay, that this dot timer, I can use that set interval. Okay, I will use that this dot set state. Okay, so here I will use that time, we can say it's I'll use that object called date. Okay, date, and I will pass that millisecond here. Okay, so basically this component did mount, it's a perfect for that timer API calls. Okay, for example I wrote that timer purpose. Okay, so in the in the functional component, so for the fetching the API we are using that use effect, okay, but in the class component we need to use the component did mount, okay. And there is a thing called component should component update, okay, should component update. Should component update, basically we need to use like we need to return something, return the next state dot count is not equal to like this dot state dot count. So like this we need to use the should component update, okay. Same thing that get snapshot before update, but in the get snapshot before update we need to return the window dot scroll y, okay. We need to return here, we need to return window dot scroll y like this, okay. And the component did update, okay, it's also important. How means we need to update the state and like props, okay. So after that there is a component will unmount, okay. So how we have to use this thing also, suppose in the yeah, so here, not here, yeah. Okay, here we have initialize the timer, but so we need to set the we need to clear the timer also, okay. For that thing we need to use that method called the component will unmount, and we need to clear the time interval also, interval like this dot timer, okay. So these are the just like the normal methods, like a road for the particular methods, okay. And this is very important, every interviewer will ask like what is the like life cycle method, okay. The life cycle method is very important, okay. And you should practice, okay. The best practices basically for the life cycle method, we need to use like they will ask like why we are using the did, why the component did mount, okay. You can tell them like we are using the component did mount for the API calls, the timer kind of things, okay. And apart from that thing, why we are using the component did update, why we are using the component will unmount, you should know the proper thing why we are using the particular components, okay. And you can practice in your system, so each and every concepts, each and every methods, okay. If you have any doubts in the particular that life cycle method, reach out to me, I will help you on this thing actually, okay. And remaining regarding that functional component we will see tomorrow, otherwise yeah, tomorrow we will see regarding that functional component. So before the functional component we need to see something called that event management, like event management, okay. The event management in the sense like I will show you one thing here. So event management, okay. So event management in the sense basically to introduce the event in the like for example there is an app called expense manager app using the React.js, okay. We need to create that event where the component where the user can add the expenses, okay. User can add the delete expenses, okay. User can filter the expenses. For real time I will show you one thing. There is a called expense manager app, it here. Yeah. Yeah, here like in this mobile screen, so we can add our expenses. Okay, like for example, there is an app called Splitwise. Okay, so in the Splitwise you can add your expenses, you can split. Okay, you can split in the sense you can filter. Okay, you can suppose if all persons are paid, then you can remove that expenses also. Okay, for that thing, for the key events we will use called that on click and that on change and that on submit is a very important. On submit. Okay, the on click to add the expenses, add and the delete the expenses. On change basically to handle the form inputs. Okay, and that on submit to handle the form submission. Okay, so yeah, so this is regarding that event manager, like event management. So we'll create one simple task on the event management. We'll see the tomorrow. Okay, so do you have any doubt till now?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll see that like tomorrow. Okay, then bye, good night.